Hi, I'm Knut Roar Wiig, CEO of Nordic Unmanned, and welcome to the Q3 presentation. We'll start with the highlights since last presentation. So basically what's going on in Nordic Unmanned the last 3 months. First of all, the pipeline. The pipeline is now past 10 billion NOK with an increase of 27%. We have won contracts worth 313 million NOK. And it's been a very productive quarter from that point of view. The contract wins has led to an increase in our contract backlog of 61%. The revenue grew in the quarter with 38% to 31 million NOK. Then we just announced the opening of our UK office. UK, it's a very interesting market for us. It's an emerging market for us, but it's a very mature aviation market, and the UAV industry is going to grow tremendously going forward in the UK. Then we did the private placement of 100 million towards external investors and 7 million towards employees, so in total 107 million. We have just increased our credit facility with a new credit line of 122 million NOK, and then our 2021 year-to-date revenue is now 80 million NOK with a growth of 97% from last year. Then we've also done an update for this quarter, and it's gonna be in this way onwards. So we're gonna be reporting on our business verticals as we presented in our updated strategy plan last quarter. This to give you a better understanding of where we are making our revenue, where we're making our money, and where we are investing in future business development in our business verticals. Our most mature and biggest business vertical is the maritime, and within the maritime, with the revenue ended up at 22.5 million, a growth of 48%. And giving us adjusted EBITDA of 6.9 million with EBITDA margin of 31%. The area is seeing strong growth with the 48% growth, and it's driven by 173 days of deployment in France and Spain with the camcopter. We have been deployed 95 days on vessel for operations with the Lockheed Martin Indigo and pilots. And it's been a very busy quarter. We also experienced some technical issues with the camcopter during the quarter, which has resulted in a negative EBITDA effect of 1.3 million, and remedies towards the supplier has been initiated in this regard. This is pushing some of our expected revenue back into backlog. And we have been continuing preparing for the existing activity, but also the future activity, training, hiring both the pilots and technicians, and the back office support that is needed for the growth. We have started the process of building the flight ops at our headquarters, and this is going to be essential for the future as we are exploring more remote operations and especially remote sensor operations for 2022. And it's also a start of something that many have asked us: when will we remotely start flying drones and not flying just with a pilot on a site that controls it? We are still not achieving expected cost efficiency nor the economy of scale, but we are building for this, and we are expecting this to be happening over the next quarters. The capex was 44.6 million related to the first Textron Aerosonde system and the third Schiebel camcopter system with its sensors and payloads. And the unadjusted, so removing the COVID-19 affected cost, the unadjusted EBITDA was 5.1 million with a with a year-to-date of 13.4, giving us a 27% EBITDA margin year-to-date. The second business vertical, which is also a mature vertical, it's also a fast-growing vertical. It's the security vertical. We are experiencing increased demand from our governmental agencies and customers. We are seeing a combination of our portfolio included in the revenue, so our own IP, the reselling activity, system integration activity, and it's across Europe with different governmental customers. However, we are experiencing some longer lead times due to shortage of components, which is pushing some of our sales into the future. And we are building up more warehouse in Norway to overcome this and to support the existing agreements we have with customers. And we trained our first crew on the Lockheed Martin Stalker platform, a new fixed-wing platform that we are adding with. We are adding it as part of our maintenance, repair, overhaul, and training package, and we have started lifecycle support on this for our customer. The total contract backlog in this area is now 95 million, and the CRM pipeline is an exciting 5.1 billion, representing 50% of our CRM pipeline. I'll get back to some of these opportunities in a bit. Our third business vertical is the infrastructure vertical, and the railway drone is hitting a sweet spot within this market. So in the period, the activity is mainly related to strategy execution and building the business vertical. And we have seen a significant and actually overwhelming reception of the launch of our the Stalker railway drone. And as you can see on the map on this slide, there is a global interest from customer on this. And it's very important for us to be developing a product that is solving real problems and real issues for the big customers that we're aiming for. So it's a very satisfying dynamic between the development and the commercial traction we're seeing in this segment just now. We are expecting the first Stalker BD300 rail drone to be in operation in the first quarter of 2022, and it's going to happen outside Norway. On the revenue side, we were last year in this category. We had a framework contract with the Norwegian Rail Authority. This contract was renewed, and we now had exclusively, but that then commenced in October this year. So this the Q3 does not reflect that, and hence the negative growth in this area. The contract backlog is 45 million. It's been increased in the quarter, and the CRM pipeline is also increasing, but it's still only at 152 million, as we are verifying and working more with the business development in this area. And the last business vertical is our logistics vertical. And we are preparing for our vertical takeoff in this area. We see high business development activity. It's a very immature area, as we all know, but at the same time we are seeing commercial traction. So we landed our first Nordic Unmanned cargo contract, where we're going to be flying for Crm Pipeline, where we'll be transporting medical equipment, covering a distance up to 16 kilometers. And then we also did the initial qualification flight for Petrobras, and with the Brazilian Civil Aviation Authority taking part in this as well. And this is speeding up and bringing us to the joint venture that we announced our initial conversation about this summer. So with Omni Taxiero in Brazil and their mother company Omni Helicopter International. So we see Brazil as a mature market, and we see some short-term opportunities in this. We see commercial opportunities in the short term emerging in this market, and as a result of that, we are planning to allocate our third camcorder system to the Brazilian market this year, which would lead for us to order a fourth camcopter system to support the existing European operations in our backlog for 2022. And the Crm Pipeline, as you can see, it's now 1.4 billion, representing global, very interesting qualified leads, and we are working on those leads to further mature them in our Crm pipeline. Product development and building the platform for growth is very important for us, and we are investing both in technology and our organization. So in Q3, our investment in the Stalker product line and development regarding that was 4.3 million Norwegian kroner, while the development in admin and growth cost, so our growth enablers, were 8 million NOK. And the development organization is now 20 after the acquisition of AirRobot. And the focus in the quarter has been mainly related to developing railway drone autonomy, the sensor development of Heimdall, which is a product from AirRobot, and we are now integrating it into Lockheed Martin Indigo 3 and Indigo 4. Around hydrogen fuel cell, Indigo payloads and accessories, several other payloads that we are developing. And it's also been related to the general Stalker product line. So admin, development and growth cost, it's all related to our Nordic Unmanned platform, and it's a platform for the future strategic growth.
Hi, I'm Knut Roar Wiig. I'm the Chief Financial Officer. I will add up the numbers to the group numbers for the third quarter. Third quarter ended up at 31.5, heavily driven by our most mature business verticals, maritime and security. It's a 38% growth from the corresponding quarter last year. Year to date, we had a turnover of 80 million, or close to 100% increase, and we passed 2020 numbers in middle of August. 31 is a good number, even though we're a bit behind where we wanted to be. As Knut Roar said, we had a bit technical issues on our camcopter operation, and also increased lead time under security led to a bit lower revenue than expected. Adjusted EBITDA for COVID costs that ended up at -1 and 1.5 for the year to date. We built up a platform to bring Nordic Unmanned the next steps, and this platform will be scalable to support our verticals in their future growth. That's including adding functions like supply chain, HR, IT. We're building this platform, and it's very scalable. This is the geographical breakdown of our revenue. Norway is still the largest part. That's a lot from sales of systems and some from operations. But the biggest footprint is related to the camcopter operation in Lithuania, France and Spain, accounting for more than half of our revenue. We added some new offices from the acquisition of AirRobot. We have a presence now in Arnsberg. We have a UK presence in Cranfield, and we have also a Molde from the acquisition of Ecoxy. This is our financial position as per third quarter. It's 55 million divided between 34 million in cash and 21 million in overdrafts. A lot have happened since then. In October we did a private placement of 100 million and another 7 million towards employees. We have also done a refinancing with a new 122 million credit facility with the purpose of refinancing existing debt and also financing the Aerosonde investment. That adds 60 million to our financial position. We are also happy to announce that we have obtained soft funding for our 2 projects. Also tax deduction scheme SkatteFUNN are related to 3 projects. We did the closing of AirRobot and Newer to M&A activities, and also we have capex related to the third camcopter system and payloads in the fourth quarter. Aggregate effect of these events is 80 million. So what we announced in September, that we are aiming for an uplisting to Oslo Børs, and we keep that. We want to do that in the first half of next year. Consequently, we will become a public limited company, and we also will convert accounting standards to IFRS.
Lars Landsnes, CEO in Nordic Unmanned. Currently we are 118 employees in the team. In there we have pilots, technicians, developers and production personnel in our maintenance, repair and overhaul facilities, in addition to the growth enabling team in business development and support functions. We were 35 a year ago, so increasing by more than 80 over the course of the year, enabling us to have capacity to deliver the expected growth in 2022. The team also included in the 118 is also our team in Arnsberg, Germany, a robot, and the team in Molde, epoxy. Taking us into the operational activity in Q3 of 2021. Our main activity in the quarter has been emission monitoring, utilizing the camcopter system, where we're doing sniffing for SOx and NOx levels from in the exhaust of vessels going by, and mainly in the English Channel and the Strait of Gibraltar. In that, we have seen that the 9% of the vessels are breaching the current sulfur regulations levels, which is an astonishing number. Our contribution in respect of emission monitoring would help reducing the level of sulfur going into the atmosphere. We conducted 539 flights and 519 flight hours, which is an increase of 20% compared to Q3 in 2020. Partly the increase is that we increased the mission capability of the system. We're also now doing maritime surveillance on top of the emission monitoring. In addition, we have increased the opening hours of the sites, or even taken evening and night flights to conduct these different missions. Year to date, we have doubled both flights and flight hours. During 2021, we have reached an enormous amount of milestones for Nordic Unmanned as a team. In Q3, we have reached a couple of major milestones with our camcopter system, which is our bread and butter. We have we just passed our 1,000 hours flying, doing emission monitoring, doing maritime surveillance, which is a huge leap for us. Another milestone we have reached is that we flew 21 hours in one single day. The 21 hours was conducted of 7 flights and with crew change between day and night on one of the sites. Our revenue model is split in two on the camcopter system. First, it's based on a day rate for that we get paid for being serviceable, ready to fly on each day of the week. Second is the variable cost, which we get revenue from when we actually fly. What we see is that from the day rate has been somewhat negatively impacted on technical issues, while the flight hour revenue has been impacted negatively due to high winds in the Strait of Gibraltar in particular, but also in the English Channel. That constitute about 12.6% of the possible flight hours we could have flown in year to date. In addition to that, we have seen more than 10% lost activity due to technical issues with the system. We are working hard with the OEM to improve that, even though we will foresee that we will see that there is technical issues also in the future, but we will together with the OEM improve that significantly for sure. Less than 1% of the flights are cancelled due to airspace. Airspace, with our look, with our approvals, with our work with the local CAAs, it's proving to be effective on a day-to-day basis.
So our backlog, we see an increase in backlog as per Q3 with 61%. We have won most of the contracts we have been bidding for in the last quarter. That is leading to this increase, and we are now at 588 million in backlog. We also see a development in our backlog all the way into 2025, which is very good. And we also see a backlog expectation, or the use of backlog expectation for 2022 surpassing 180 million NOK. And there are some adjustments according to the strengthening of NOK versus euro, as most of our backlog is in foreign currency. But this, however, going forward, when we're moving into IFRS, we will start reporting in backlog in euros, not in NOK. And the backlog is obviously a result of the CRM pipeline. So what, as many of you know, but I'll repeat it, the way we look at the market is building the opportunities and building the accessible size of market ourselves. So basically taking the opportunities that we see in the market and that we are approached with in the market into our CRM pipeline. So the CRM pipeline now exceeds 10 billion NOK as an increase of 27% since last quarter. And we are more focused on our market intelligence. The CRM pipeline gets updated on a weekly basis, so it's fresh, and it now exists out of 99 different opportunities that we are tracking at the different stages. The prospect stage is the most increasing one in value, and the reason is that we are more focused on being more actively finding opportunities in the market than we have been in the past. We are working on multiple tenders with more than 200 million NOK value that potentially are likely to be awarded over the next 12 months. So combining our backlog with our CRM becomes really exciting, and it's our growth story of how we're going to achieve 4 billion revenue in 2025. So we are maintaining that, and as you can see, we have added the backlog divided in which year they're valid for, and there is a required win needed from the CRM to achieve that growth. So we have captured a lot of those opportunities already, and we are maturing a lot of those opportunities already. So the transfer from CRM into backlog is basically we need to win contracts, and we need to win a lot of contracts. And the good thing is that we are now working on a win rate of which is now value adjusted of 52%. So we've done an update in the win rate this quarter. Basically, we're now value adjusting the win rate, so it's not about the number of opportunities you're seeking, but the value of the opportunities. That's what's going to give us the growth. And we're also being more open about how has it been in the past and what we're seeing. First of all, we don't have to bid for everything. We have decided not to bid on 39% of the opportunities the last 3 years. Mainly because the budget doesn't fit. We don't think we can win, or we don't have the solution for it, and so on. So let's not waste time on it, and let's focus on what's going to give us good wins. Then actually 35% has been cancelled by the client. So typical a sign of an immature market where there is a mismatch of the budget allocated from the client, or the technology, the maturity of technology was not there, and many of these cancellations are coming back out after they've been reshaped and upgraded. And so we are simply left with two ways of calculating, or two interesting outcomes. One, obviously we are winning or we are losing. So value adjusted win rate is 52% based on this. Over the next 6 months, we are looking at a contractual trigger value of more than 1 billion. There are several opportunities that we are working on at the same time. It's been a very active bidding period, and we have built up our bidding organization to handle that for the future as well. So it's the Coast Guard in Norway, is a leasing opportunity. There is the offshore energy in Norway. We are maintaining that. Those who are following us have seen that over some time now, it's taking longer time than what we expected, but we are maintaining it in here. The tactical UAS for Denmark, it's a very big opportunity. We are down selected in this opportunity. So out of 15, there are now 5 down selected, and we are the only European system integrator that is down selected. Offshore energy in Brazil, we already talked about. The border force in the UK is going to be interesting. So it's basically flying on the other side of Calais, where we have been flying for some time now, and we have a range of systems available for this opportunity. Then we have the Royal Air Force in the UK with an opportunity coming out as well from our UK office, and we are bidding for a global energy major, taking the best out of long range, long endurance for security surveillance on onshore and offshore sites. And we are progressing in the armed forces for Germany, the 155 air robot assets that we have been bidding for the Bundeswehr, and there will be a fly-off in this process in some weeks' time. When it comes to our guiding, we are increasing our staff according to plan. We are currently 122 FTEs, and we expect to be around 130 by the end of this year. Number of consultants have decreased and been replaced by employees. That's a trend that's going to continue. On the M&A side, we are upgrading, saying that we are expecting 1 to 2 M&As over the next 3 months, and it could be in the US and or in Europe. The fleet is continuing to increasing as expected. We are maintaining our 2025 growth targets, and when it comes to the 2021 growth and EBITDA, we are maintaining this, even though the third quarter did not give us the revenue that we were hoping for. We are maintaining the guiding for this, even though the outcome of binary options or binary opportunities that we are working with could affect them. There are also quite a lot of very mature opportunities that could take us where we want to be. So a lot of things is going on in this quarter, and it's a very active one. So that was my presentation of Q3. I'm very excited that you are listening in and interested in our further development. And if you have any more questions to us in regards to the presentation itself or any other questions, please do send us a question on ir@nordicunmanned.com, and we will get back to you as soon as possible and answer as good as we can to your questions. So thank you all, and have a great day.